For my next build, I wanted to return to the bleeding build that I experimented with while leveling. However, this time I wanted to use something other than Flay as my base skill. Something more dynamic. My idea was to sprint through mobs using lunging strike and apply the bleed effect to larger groups. While the mobs die from the debuff, I could keep running. However, as I progressed through the dungeons, I found that I accumulated a lot of fury and it wasn't worth applying a new bleeding effect to the mobs over and over again. I wondered if I could use another core ability to effectively use the accumulated fury while the bleeding debuff was ticking. Initially, I thought of using Whirlwind, which also applies a bleeding effect. But it seemed impractical to run back to the mobs when I actually wanted to avoid them. Additionally, Whirlwind requires a lot of fury. While browsing the talent tree, I came across Upheavel, a spell that I found interesting due to its funny animation. Moreover, the skill can deal damage to mobs at range and stun them as well. I also discovered a node in which Upheavel deals more damage if you used other spells beforehand. Finally, I remembered the legendary aspect that I had enchanted on one of my weapons. If you switch your weapon 10 times, Overpower is triggered. What you see in the background is the result of this build. I placed my one-handed weapon on Lunging Strike, my two-handed spear on Rend, and my mace on Upheavel. It plays out dynamically and smoothly. You sprint like a berserker with Lunging Strike from mob to mob, healing yourself and applying a bleed debuff that slows them down. If enough mobs are following you, you turn around and give them a Rend, which further slows them down and applies another bleeding debuff. Meanwhile, Upheavel accumulates stacks. Once you reach the maximum of 10 stacks or the suitable amount that you find enough, you can use Upheavel on the mobs that are following you. Some will die instantly to Upheavel and the rest will die from the bleeding effect. Let's now examine the items and aspects that contribute to increasing the damage and synergy of the build. The helmet with lucky hit chance to stun a bleeding target. The gloves that increase the damage of the next core skill after using a basic skill. The left one-handed weapon that activates Overpower on the 10th weapon swap and increases damage. The upper ring that increases the damage of my skills, measured by the amount of fury I have at that time. While the other items in the build are useful additions, they are not necessarily crucial to your success. For example, the polearm that directly triggers bleed damage when a target is stunned has a synergy with the chance of Upheavel to stun enemies or the aspect on the helmet. Here are the talent points I have distributed. Basic skill, Lunging Strike, with increased damage and healing when I attack a healthy enemy. Additionally, it leaves a bleed effect. Core skills, Rend increases the duration of vulnerability on enemies. This is not relevant in this context. Only the second part is important. If Rend hits multiple enemies, I receive additional fury. Upheavel has a 20% chance to stun enemies for 2.5 seconds. Each time damage is dealt with a skill other than Upheavel, a counter is activated. The counter can reach a maximum of 10 and increases damage per stack by 8%. Defensive skills, Rallying Cry generates more fury and makes me unstoppable when I am affected by a crowd control effect. Imposing Presence increases my maximum health. Iron Skin generates a barrier and heals my character. Mastery skills, Hamstring, my bleed effects slow the target by 20%. Thick Skin generates Fortify and reduces damage taken. Ultimate skills, Call of the Ancients, a good oh shit button that grants more damage, attack speed, and fury regeneration. I hope I was able to inspire you with this build, and you are now ready to optimize and make your character even stronger. If you want to see more builds and tips like this, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. You will always be the first to know about my new videos. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I regularly check and am happy to answer your questions. But that alone is not enough. If you really want to help support my channel and content, please share this video with your friends and guild mates. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to exciting you in the future with new builds and strategies. See you soon, and good luck in the dungeons.